Quay, Yancy, Thusky, in addition to Kas, Tigani ni, Kitigan Zibi Ajinjike. Hello, my name is Yancy Thusky. I'm from the Barrier Lake Territory, currently residing in Kitigan Zibi. So drumming to me is an opportunity to remind myself that I'm connected to my culture, I'm connected to my people, and I'm connected to the land. So whenever I do drum, or whenever I do have the opportunity to go and drum, it's to remind myself that that these are teachings that I've learned over the years, and it's an opportunity for me to practice those teachings, but as well give people the opportunity to learn and to pass down the knowledge that I've gathered over the years. There's several teachings that come from drumming and singing, but some main teachings that I take away from the drum are respect, responsibility, and humility. When you learn about respect for the drum, you learn how to carry yourself around the drum. You learn how to carry yourself for your people, for your culture. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be perfect. You just have to carry yourself in a respectable way. You know, be kind, be nice, listen, and you know, share your knowledge whenever you have opportunity. So it's respecting yourself, respecting the drum, and respecting others is, I believe, a very important teaching. Responsibility. Responsibility goes a long way when it comes to drumming. You know, you got to learn how to be responsible on how, you know, how you carry yourself around other people. Responsibility in terms of you gotta take time and listen to knowledge that's being passed down to you. You gotta take time, you know, listening and learning different songs for different occasions. You know, responsibility of a singer. You got to learn how to sing for different occasions, whether it be celebration, honoring, grief. There's different songs for different occasions, and that's your responsibility as a singer, to make sure that you're able to learn all these different songs for different occasions in life, and being a singer for your community, that's a responsibility that you're willing to take amongst yourself. So, another teaching that I take away from the teachings of the drum is humility. Humility is a big one, because that's, you know, you carry that with you in everyday life. You know, you listen, you learn, and it doesn't matter at what age you are or how long you've been singing or drumming. It's humility is always there. You're willing to learn every day, and it doesn't necessarily mean if you're starting your first day of singing, or you've been singing for 30 years, learning and taking advice and taking knowledge that's passed down from different people is huge. It's how you carry yourself, you know. And if you have humility, you have respect, and you can't be humble if you're just focusing on yourself. It's you got to learn to bring someone up if ever they're feeling insecure about something. If they're starting to just drum, you got to learn to give advice. Even if yourself, you know, you might know that you're a talented singer, doesn't necessarily mean that you can't take any more advice or whatever someone is trying to share with you. And you know, any knowledge that is trying to other people are trying to share with you. So humility is big, and from all those teachings that I just shared are just several. There's several of them. There's many different teachings that come with drumming, but those three teachings I use to my everyday life. Drumming, I believe, is a way of life, and I use the teachings that I use off the drum for my everyday, my everyday being. You know, I'm respectful. I take responsibility for a lot of stuff, and it's important to be humble. And if you have those different teachings and you apply them in your everyday life, not only with singing and dancing, it just makes the world a better place. And that's the way of our Anishinaabe people a long time ago as well. These are teachings that have been passed down for many, many years. So it's something I take away from it. My journey into becoming a singer, a traditional singer, it started, I would say, a little later than a lot of other singers. I only started singing when my daughter was born. So I only started singing at 25 years old. I'm 34 now. It was always something that I was always intrigued by. I was always singing as a young kid, you know, listening to powwow songs and going to powwows and just being intrigued by the drum and dancers and stuff like that. I guess it's not necessarily an excuse, but played a lot of hockey growing up. I moved to many places, different places of Canada and the States and stuff like that. So I want to say that a lot of my focus at the time was on being a hockey player. And don't get me wrong, like it wasn't necessarily something that prohibited me from learning, but it's just my focus was in being a hockey player at the moment, at that time. And then when my daughter came into the world, I started focusing a little bit more on our culture, our land, and our teachings that have been around for several years, so many years. And I wanted to make sure that I was able to pass down those teachings, small teachings, bigger teachings, make sure I could pass down my language to my daughter. And these are all things that I decided to put a little bit more time into and focus in. And as I was doing that, like I started learning that, the way of being a singer is it's a part of everyday life, and it's teachings that I've learned over the years that to this day I still carry myself with those teachings. And very, very fortunate to make that decision to be to start connecting more to my land, more to our cultural practices and our language. And that's pretty much my journey of it. Now I'm going on 10 years of singing, and that's the thing with going through the journey too. Me myself, it's I like being I like putting myself in a position where if I'm learning something, I like to learn it thoroughly. I want to make sure I understand it and practice it and stuff like that. So when I started singing, I did my time in learning. I sat down with the guys, and I whether they were be older or younger, I was always open to taking advice and knowledge from different people. And it's funny because I started as a 25-year-old with a drum group here in Kirigan, and they were much younger than me. They were teens, slowly turning into men, and I was by far one of the oldest guys on the drum group, and I was just starting off. And I took a lot of my knowledge, a lot of my teachings, and a lot of advice from younger guys. But that just goes to show you that you have to be humble. It doesn't necessarily matter what age you start at, is what you do with the knowledge that's shared with you, right? So that's humility is a big key in there. And now today we're fortunate enough to majority of us are still together. We're growing up in life. We're becoming men, family men, and we still get together and sing and share our culture together. And it's something that I'm very fortunate and proud to be a part of. I believe reconnecting with your culture is very important. Especially now, but at any time of your life, this is the way of our people. It's the way of our nation. Practicing and reconnecting with your land and your culture is very important. But especially what's going on today with the residential school survivors and kids that never made it home. It's just a reminder that these are things that indicate that we were here. We're here, and it was a plan to have us disconnect from our culture. And reconnecting with your culture is very important. Being a son of a residential school survivor, I could attest to, I was fortunate enough that my mother was able to keep her mother tongue, and I was able to teach me and my siblings how to speak Algonquin fluently, and that in itself is something that I want to make sure I want to pass down as a teaching to my family, as well as I want to make sure that I pass down the knowledge of singing and dancing, the different teachings that come from it, and to make sure that that lineage is not going to be broke with me. It's going to be passed down. And I believe that even at any time of your life, even if you're older, practicing and reconnecting with your culture and your practices it's never too late. And it's important, because the plan was to have us disconnect from our culture, and what's happening now is we're demonstrating that we're resilient, we're still here, and but not necessarily to practice our practice to be resilient. It's to practice our culture, because that's our way of life, and that's the way it was for Anishinaabe people before. And we just got to make sure that we all do a little part on learning and passing down teachings. I find that extremely important. Good.